Glad you could join us for this edition of Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson.
A COVID-19 mega testing site opens near Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The site on Sullivan Road in College Park is capable of testing 5,000 people per day, and results will be turned around within 48 to 72 hours. The testing is free. Georgians from any county can get tested whether or not they're showing symptoms. These tests are conducted by nasal swab and are self-administered. The site is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. through August 26th. To register and make an appointment, go to doineedacovid19test.com. A report published by the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association says 97,000 kids tested positive within the last 2 weeks of July. The age range varied by state and comes as some children are returning to the classroom. At least 86 children have died since May. Recently, a 7-year-old boy with no pre-existing conditions became the youngest victim in the state of Georgia. Some Georgia schools that kicked off in-person learning now making changes as students and staffers test positive for COVID-19. Paulding, Cherokee, and Bartow County school districts announcing either temporary online learning or quarantine. Emory University infectious disease specialist and former public school teacher Dr. Mary Beth Sexton says right now, the way it stands in a lot of coronavirus hotspots, it would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to open school in a normal way that would also be safe.
For older kids and teenagers, it really does appear that they can be just as contagious and just as likely to transmit. And there have been some good examples of that, including the summer camp that was right here in Georgia, where about 3/4 of the kids and the staff all tested positive after working, playing, living in close quarters.
Dr. Sexton says before kids even arrive at school, bus riders should be wearing masks, and each child should have his or her own seat, which means staggered start times and staggered days. She says plexiglass between kids should be considered for lunchtime because disease spreads the moment they take their masks off for eating and drinking. She acknowledges that all may be challenging and expensive, but will make kids safer in schools. Atlanta City Council member Michael Julian Bond joins with rap artist Waka Flocka, State Representative Abel Mabel Thomas, Atlanta People Action Center, Reverend Larry Hill, and Northwest Youth Power to hold an emergency community giveaway. The event, held at the Magnolia Park Apartments, provided diapers and hand sanitizer, among other vital items.
What's going on here today is the community supporting the community. And you got other communities from Chicago coming to support the community in Atlanta.
There's so much that is going on in our communities that doesn't really make the news, doesn't really get a lot of attention. But a lot of these families have been impacted. We want to give our support to them along with State Representative Abel Mabel Thomas to say we're supportive of your philanthropy and we appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Stay at Home Connect. Have a great night. I'm Phyllis Jackson. Thanks so much for joining us for Stay at Home Connect.
The American Academy of Pediatrics urges universal masks for children over the age of 2 in situations where social distancing is difficult, including while in schools, child care, and other group settings. The AAP says face coverings can be worn safely, even by the vast majority of children with underlying health conditions, with rare exception. President Zaragoza says cloth face coverings should be part of their new normal. The long-term effects of COVID-19, including the heart condition myocarditis, is believed to have played a role in the Big Ten Pac-12 postponement of college football to 2021. Myocarditis is the inflammation of the heart brought on by a viral infection. Emory University's chief of sports cardiology says more data is needed to understand myocarditis and the potential risk it poses to professional and college athletes. Dr. Jonathan Kim says studies reveal 20% of patients hospitalized for coronavirus went on to develop cardiac injuries. That's significantly higher than the normal 1% of heart complications typically seen in patients. This increase makes competitive athletes more susceptible to developing the condition. So what does this mean for these athletes and even high school sports?
If there is a lot of spread of virus that cannot be controlled, then clearly there's going to be a higher burden of concern for some of these downstream negative health consequences, which includes the heart. So I don't think that my field per se, the sports cardiology aspect, should guide the question of should sports be played right now or should high school, college athletes be coming back to play. I still think it really is a public health concern and question for them. And then we are a part of that discussion. But as we've all learned over the last several months, it's really all about controlling the viral spread. That's what's most important.
For marathon runners or high-end exercise enthusiasts, Dr. Kim recommends talking to a sports cardiologist to see if you're a candidate for cardiac testing. Are temperature checks a solid tool in the wake of COVID-19? Not according to Dr. Anthony Fauci.
We have found at the NIH that it is much, much better to just question people when they come in and save the time because the temperatures are notoriously inaccurate.
So, Fauci says the White House and the National Institutes of Health have abandoned temperature checks as part of their screening protocol. Fauci made the comments during a Facebook Live event with Walter Reed Medical Center. He says he's experienced massive fluctuations in his own temperature simply due to the summer heat. Atlanta City Council member ANDREA BOONE and Next Step Staffing host 2 COVID-19 testing events during the weekend. The Saturday and Sunday 10 to 4 p.m. drive-through and walk-up testing took place on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive across from the Westview Cemetery.
That's going to do it for Stay at Home Connect. I hope you have a great evening.
The meeting will begin in 1 minute. It is now 1 o'clock. We will begin the meeting. Good afternoon. My name is Felicia Moore, your Atlanta City Council President. Welcome to the August 17th, 2020 Atlanta City Council meeting. Mr. Clerk, Mr. Forrest Webb, could you give us a roll call, please?
Yes. Council President Felicia A. Moore.
Present.
Council members Post 1 at large, Michael Julian Barnes.
Here.
Post 2 at large, Matt Westmoreland.
Here.
Post 3 at large, Andrea Dickens.
Here.
Council District 1, Carla Smith.
Here.
Council District 2, Amir R. Faroki.
Here.
Council District 3, Antonio Brown.
Here.
Council District 4, Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Council District 5, Madeline Mosby Archibald.
Here.
Council District 6, Jennifer N. Ide. Council District 7, Howard Shook. Council District 8, J.P. Matsakite.
Here.
Council District 9, Dustin Hillett.
Here.
Council District 10, Andrea L. Boone.
Present.
Council District 11, Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Council District 12, Joyce M. Shepard.
Present.
Quorum present, Madam President.
Thank you. Are any other members joining us since the roll call? Okay. I do know Councilmember Ide sent notice that she will not be at this meeting. And if other members join us, please let us know. We will now go to the adoption of the agenda. And on unanimous consent of members present, we will adopt the agenda as printed if there's no objection. Hearing no objection, the agenda is adopted. Now we will go to my opening remarks and thank everybody for attending today's meeting. Just as a reminder that as COVID-19 cases continue to rise, the please continue wearing your face covering, social distancing, washing your hands, and avoiding large crowds and gatherings. I know this is the same old story, but it's important for our health and progress of our city and our nation that everyone please be reminded and take heed to those suggestions. Also, a reminder that the last day to register to vote for the November election is October 5th. So if you or others you know have not registered to vote, please let them know that the deadline is October 5th. Also, the City of Atlanta really urges you to remember to complete your 2020 census. The last day has been moved up to September 30th. It's very important to our city that you're counted, so when federal funds and other aid become available, that we have everyone counted in our population and we get our fair share. Today we will go into the Committee of the Whole for purposes of the Zoning Committee and Committee on Council. Now to our moment of silence. We certainly would like to extend our continued thoughts and prayers for those who are battling or who have lost a loved one due to COVID-19. We also recognize the passing of President Trump's younger brother, Robert Trump. Condolences go out to Jeff Graham and family in the passing of his lifelong companion and friend, Peter Steiner. And are there any other council members? Please indicate with the speaker button who wants someone else recognized at this time. Okay, seeing none, let's...
Sure. President Moore, this
Yes.
is Councilmember Winslow. Dinese Howard, who was a community neighborhood activist in the Venetian Hills community in NPUS and was an active member with Fort McPherson with the whole reimagining of Fort McPherson past. So I would like her to be remembered.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Okay, let's take a moment of silent meditation on the names that are mentioned and those that we may not have recognized today. Thank you. Today we are honored to have our invocation by Reverend Marcus T. Watkins, pastor of Simpson Street Church of Christ, located at 800 Joseph B. Boone Boulevard, Northwest. Reverend Watkins?
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come now and we receive your supreme power over our lives, our situations and circumstances that within our individual journeys of life. We ask that you would bless us as we navigate through these difficult and uncertain times that we now find ourselves faced with. Father, we realize how critical decisions are in the face of pain, pandemic, and pandemonium. In the midst of chaos and confusion, we ask that you lead us and guide us. We come now, Father, asking you for divine guidance for each member of this council. We know that the decisions and choices they make are critical to the well-being of our community. Help them to consider all aspects of how their decisions will forge the direction and welfare of every resident of Atlanta. Also, God bless their families. Keep them safe and all of us safe and healthy. And in all things, we ask that you give us hope. Hope that tomorrow will be better than today. Hope that people will practice safe habits. Hope that a safe vaccine will be found. Hope that peaceful protests do not turn into vindictive violence. Hope that disease will be eradicated, and hope that all things will work together for good. And now, Father, we pray this prayer trusting you to be our rock, our fortress, our shield, and our deliverer. We pray this prayer in faith, thanking you for your protection, and that others will see us trusting you and will want to know about the hope that is within us. Bless us and keep us in your care. We ask this in the mighty name of the one who walked the boisterous waters and calmed the raging sea. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And thank you so much for joining us, Reverend Watkins. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Madam President.
Yes. Now, if we can all say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and
to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice
for all. Thank you so much. We now go to remarks by the public. We have approximately 18 minutes. Mr. Clerk.
The public may leave a comment of their concerns the day before the scheduled meeting between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. by dialing 404-330-6001. Public comments for the full council agenda shall not exceed 2 minutes. In addition, the standing committees of zoning and committee on council will enter the committee of the whole, and the public may express their concerns for individual committees by dialing the designated numbers. Committee on Council, 404-330-6069, zoning 404-330-6035. Messages for the committee shall not exceed 3 minutes. No public comments are allowed on legislative items that have gone before the ZRB and the zoning or will be going before the ZRB and zoning committee. Thank you, Mr. Massenberg.
Hello, my name is Brock Hampton. I'm a citizen of DeKalb County. Thanks for your time today. I wanted to call to show my support for reimagining the role of police within the city. There's no doubt that they have a complex job, and I believe, like many people suggested, that delegating some of their duties to other social programs, to social workers, to these other creative means would not only help them do their specific job better, but would also be safer for the public overall. I think accountability is critical in this area. I think an Atlanta Citizens Review Board is also critical. They have a very complex job, there's no doubt about that. But they are, like you are, servants of the public. You guys have chosen this job, which is extremely important, and we're grateful for your work. But it also comes with accountability to the public for whom you serve and for whom provides taxes to fund these things. The accountability is so necessary because we're supposed to be a community, and the policing process is a give and take. They have a lot of power, and to just make sure we're all kosher, we need to make sure everyone knows what's going on as best as you can. And when there's trust in this accountability process, I think citizens trust the police more, and the police probably won't have to deal with as many issues when there's a real relationship with the public. So I just wanted to reach out to please, ask you to really be creative and listen to these new ideas. And I appreciate your time.
Yes, my name is Stephanie Coffin, and I would like to leave a comment on Ordinance 20-0-1337 and encourage all City Council members to vote no. First of all, when I listened to the CDHS meetings last week, the sound was so bad that I couldn't tell what was going on. So the City Council has got to figure out some ways to make the sound better so that people can listen to actually what's going on. The second thing is that apparently this is a substitute motion connected to the Lake Charlotte legislation, but was not available to the public. So there's been no tab for public comment on this substitute amendment to the Lake Charlotte maintenance plan. And I guess third of all, that it really is contradictory. 3 years for maintenance certainly will cut into the tree trust fund and goes against even the idea of the legislation itself, which is to take less money from the tree trust fund in the future. So you need to get your procedure together so the citizens can participate. I know it's a very difficult time with the virus, but still you have to make sure that your procedures are in order and fix it up so that people can participate. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Katie Kissel. I'm a resident of Kirkwood, and Councilwoman Archibong is my representative to the council. I'm calling today on behalf of HAY, Helping Empower Youth Organizations, and I would like to request that the City Council provide support and funding for the Water Boys of Atlanta. The mission of HAY is based on the premise that you should always have the opportunity to solve for challenges in their communities while utilizing the resources available to them. I have personally been working with HAY, and we have seen these boys day in, day out for months. And we are prepared to help them and to meet them where they are, to move them forward in their life. I don't think that the appropriate response to these boys selling water is to stop them. I think the better response would be to provide alternate options for them through programming, through job training programs. There's a lot of different ways that we can provide options for these young men and not introduce them into the prison pipeline that is plaguing our African American community, specifically in the city of Atlanta, where the average household income for Black households is 50. So please put your money and your time towards helping empower youth and help these young men move their lives forward. Thank you so much.
Yes, my name is Ron Shakir. I have some concerns about certain segments of the community who is not used to dealing with the internet or email, and that, you know, like the water department, that they open it up so they can talk to somebody in office. I think that, you know, it'll be good practice in readiness for when the city do become a new normal. And it will give a certain parties in the community or in that works with the citizenship, especially those who've been there a long time, to maintain their edge and have their capital where they can exchange and help people. Plus, I'm thinking it work also in the business and licensing department when people are renewing. Everybody don't operate the same as the readiness online or what have you. And then certain departments like the planning department, and I would hope that they'd be able to have to give information on certain projects that they can just catch the bus, come downtown, and talk about it. Instead of feeling like, you know, they miss a meeting, then they don't have no way. If they don't use the computers or internet, they don't have no way. And we can start leading the way, Ms. Bottoms. We can start leading the way, City Council people, of showing people being creative. One way also is to put a tent outside and have information in that particular area of government. Thanks so much. I wish that these thoughts can be considered, and I'm hoping that everybody's doing well. Thank you.
Hi, this is Brittany Myers in South Atlanta, and I'm calling to say that I support Resolution 20R4178, which would look into reviewing a ban on no-knock warrants potentially. I think that would be a great step forward. I was looking at some of the recent statistics on implementation of 8 Can't Wait, and Atlanta is not really doing its part comparatively, and I'd like to see our city do more on that. I know that there's been a lot of discussion around that, but it's really just been that, just discussion, so I'd like to see us move forward as a city. And I also am calling to support Ordinance 2015-18, which would hopefully alleviate some of the insane numbers at the polling places during the primary, and really in the past. I mean, Georgia's track record on that has been honestly deplorable, and voting, you know, we've been doing it the whole history of our country. Not everyone equally, of course, but really it shouldn't be this difficult in this day and age, and there shouldn't be 16,000 people registered to one place. I mean, you know, so anything that can be done about that would be really great. So just calling to say I support that. Thank you very much. Great.
Hi, my name is Will Anthony, and I'm calling on behalf of those which live next door in the Buckhead Council of Neighborhoods to ask that you remove Ordinance 20-1337 from the consent agenda in tomorrow's meeting, which would be August 17th, and vote no on it as it is currently amended. The amendment that we oppose changes Section 1D to increase the number of years from 2 to 3 for the initial short-term restoration and stabilization of forested land acquisitions that's being paid out of the Tree Trust respond. The reason we objected this is, first of all, this amendment was not included in the ordinance that was attached to the Community Development and Human Services meeting agenda last Tuesday. And that's what it was voted on. And we were not given an opportunity to comment before that vote was taken. We had indicated our support for an earlier version of this ordinance prior to this amendment, but we do not support the ordinance as currently amended. Secondly, allowing for long-term 3-year maintenance contracts for forest and land acquisitions to be paid for by the Tree Trust Fund makes this ordinance self-contradictory, given that at the bottom of the first page of this ordinance, you all have clearly specified that Tree Trust Funds should be used only for short-term maintenance. 3 years is long-term maintenance. Another issue we have is that you seek in your ordinance to make sure that the Tree Trust Fund is sustainable long-term so that it can be used to acquire additional qualifying forest and land, an additional year of maintenance costs. You are ensuring that the Tree Trust Fund will not be sustainable long-term. Thank you. Goodbye.
Good afternoon. My name is Diego Saldana from South Atlanta, and I'd like to voice my support on a ban for no-knock warrants. A ban on no-knock warrants. I'd also like the polling precincts rematch to combat voter suppression, and I give my full support for the Atlanta Citizens Review Board, so they reimagine the role of police. And my goal is to be done because I believe that Black Lives Matter.
Hey, my name's Alex Hahn. I live in Grant Park. I want to call in to support a ban on no-knock warrants. I think polling places, polling precincts should be remapped to combat voter suppression. I support the Atlanta Citizens Review Board and think the use of police should be reimagined. Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
Greetings to you, council members and staff. A special greetings to you citizens of Atlanta, paying attention to your government in action. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. In regards to Ordinance 20-0-1477, legislation to add the Atlanta Citizen Review Board as a charter-mandated board, I offer this request to strengthen ACRB by mandating that ACRB give priority to any complaints about violations of the open records request system in matters relating to police. Prior to the pandemic, I led a contingent of citizens, including residents from a HUD-supported housing development, to a neighborhood planning unit or meeting. Antonita Robinson, co-leader of the PUR9, shouted out that I was not allowed to be there. Early in the meeting, I left the officers to huddle with Antonita Robinson. I made a premature departure. I filed an open records request wanting to know why the 3 officers were present, but NPUR allows no reports from the police department on their tightly controlled agendas. When I received no response to my open records request, I filed a complaint with the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. My complaint to ACRB was rejected. Please require ACRB to place on its agenda for vetting by the full ACRB board any complaints you receive about police department.
My name is Untitled Jordan, giving out the Spirit of Christ. But he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. 1 Peter 3:10. Guile is deceit. When you enjoy your living, pull away from unrighteous words. And of thy mercy, cut off my enemies, and destroy all them that afflict my soul. For I am thy servant. Psalms 143:12. Let me and us seek to please God so that he will bound those that seek to hurt us. Then, my government, when you ask to kill, then you ask to be killed. To open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan unto God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me. Acts 26:18. Agrippa confesses that he is close to believing what Paul has proclaimed. When Jesus did in me, it was by his power, not mine, to walk in his light, not in darkness. Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties. Psalms 141:4. David prayed for God's attention, for restraint, and for refuge. Mine obtained from the work of evil practices brings about destruction.
I am Brother Anthony Muhammad. I am original, indigenous, ancestor, Asiatic, kinetic, soulful, spiritual energy, being having human experience in the cosmos and on earth. I am not a believer in the Roman Catholic Church religion, Christianity, in the Bible, Scripture, the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. There is not one human person born from a woman, uterus, or womb. My aunt, matriarch, hotel, as say, to the full council. I am very concerned. Over 2 years ago, when the Mr. Reed administration, let's say 4 years, when Mr. Reed, when his teacher came in, we had a house on Button Road, 2500 block, that is in a flood zone. In the house, that same house is being renovated as I talk. I've been calling my District 11 Missouri Street. We have affordable houses that's supposed to be recognized. And we have a commission that is not actively making no movement since 1993 of the installation of this commission. And I'm asking, why is it that we can march we can march Mr. Westmoreland, we can march Mr. Milwaukee. Together we did. We did that from Ebenezer to the state capitol and bow down on our knees at Martin Luther King's statue. Do like Reverend James Lawson said. Letting you stand up and carry the torch with you. Do like Reverend James Lawson said in Junior John Lewis. Stand up in the 20th century, 21st century for the benefit of the poor. I preach you. Now out Matriarch Hotel.
My name is Sarah Kelty. I'm a resident of Fulton County, and I wanted to call to express my support in remapping polling precincts to combat voter suppression, to support the creation of the Atlanta City Citizen Review Board and reimagining the role of the police. And to also support a ban on no-knock warrants. Thank you, and thank you for hearing my comments.
All right, I had to get you. Sorry, that was our last one, and we certainly thank all of the public for their public comment. And now we will go back to our agenda and go to the report of the journal.
I, Forrest Webb III, Municipal Clerk, do hereby certify that the action minutes of the August 3rd, 2020 virtual City Council meeting are true and correct.
Okay, if there's no objection, on unanimous consent of members present, we will accept and file the report of the journal. Is there any objection? Hearing none, it's accepted. Have any other members joined us since the roll call? Okay, thank you. We now go to communications.
Yes, Madam President, a point of clarity. I have 13 members that indicated that they were present. However, I have 14 members that are connected. Perhaps one of the members may have been on mute when I called the roll.
Okay, let's see. I guess we need to do it again just for clarity's sake, because we just did a unanimous consent. If you could do it quickly. Everyone, please make sure you're not. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Madam President, if I could just get clarity on if Councilman Shook is actually on the actual call. I know he's in the system, but if he's on the call, I can properly note that.
That's right. I know Ms. Ida is not going to be here. Mr. Shook was the other. Mr. Shook, are you here?
Roger.
Okay, he's here.
Madam President, unanimous consent would be 14 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to communication.
20-C-0068, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom appointing Mr. Joshua Humphrey to serve as a member of the Housing Commission. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development, Human Services, and Committee on Council.
Let it follow that course.
Madam President, if I could sound items 2 through 4 as a block.
Proceed.
20-C-0069, a communication from Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom appointing Ms. Latrice Walker to serve on the City of Atlanta's Elected Officials Compensation Commission for a term expiring with the next regular municipal general election to be held November 2nd, 2021. 20-C-0070, a communication from Interim Chief Procurement Officer Mark Clark submitting the July 27, 2020 through July 31st, 2020 weekly contract report. 20-C-0071, submitting the August 3rd, 2020 through August 7th, 2020 weekly contract report to the Atlanta City Council and Clerk of Council pursuant to Code Section 2-1142 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances. Staff recommendation to accept and file all 3.
Staff recommends to accept and file all 3. If there are no objections from the members present, we will accept and file on unanimous consent. Now we move to consideration of veto legislation.
There is none, Madam President.
Unfinished business.
There is none.
We're now at Consent Agenda Section 1. Consent Agenda Section 1. If you would like to remove any items from Consent Agenda Section 1, please indicate with your speaker button. Seeing no speakers indicated, let's open the vote on Consent Agenda Section 1.
The vote is now open.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, go ahead. Okay, hold on. Mr. Shook?
Aye.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow? Ms. Winslow? If you're muted, please unmute yourself, Ms. Winslow. Okay, let's close the vote.
The vote is now closed.
Everyone can please hold 1 moment. Okay, Mr. Clerk, you can call the vote.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. Consent Agenda Section 1 is adopted. We're now in Consent Agenda Section 2.
Madam President, this is Councilmember Winslow. I got cut off. If you could include on the affirmative.
Would you please add Ms. Winslow in the affirmative, Mr. Clerk?
Thank you. And I'll be voting today.
Okay, so that will be 14 yeas, 0 nays. Consent agenda section 1 is adopted. We're now at consent agenda section 2. All items will be referred as indicated. Now we go to our reports of the standing committee. The first standing committee is the Committee of the Whole, which will include our Committee on Council and then Zoning Committee. I'll entertain a motion to go into Committee of the Whole.
So moved.
So moved.
Yep.
Second, Massachusetts.
Okay. A motion by Smith, second by Massachusetts to go into Committee of the Whole. If there's no objection to going into Committee of the Whole, we will enter Committee of the Whole on unanimous consent. We are now in Committee of the Whole. We'll start with the Honorable J.P. Massakai, Chair, Committee on Council.
Thank you, President Moore. Committee on Council meeting, the first item on the agenda are public comments, and I believe we do have some public comments. Mr. Evans?
My name is Ron Shakir. I appreciate the opportunity to engage. I'm doing a remake, so I hope they'll get a chance to have my comment received. I think that we have to, with setting up infrastructure and expectations of creating a new norm coming out the pandemic, and I would hope that we can start doing it and rolling it out a little at a time. One department would be the water department, to pay your bills or inquire or to make arrangements or to express some concerns that you may have with garbage pickup or with book pickup or with the planning department. And this creativity is something that it can be a first run, a little run, or it's coming out a little bit at a time. It could also maybe put up a tent on the outside, and you have the movement of air. But it's a lot of things that we maybe should consider and actually start doing. And I would hope that the leadership of the City of Atlanta, Ms. Bottoms, and the council members and the policymakers and their team would start rolling some of this out. And because we have stories, we have concerns, and I just hope that we can start doing that. And I'm talking to the Committee on Council, and thank you very much for your time. Brother Prosecutor.
I am that I am, Brother Anthony Muhammad. I am an ancient Aboriginal indigenous ancestor, ancient attitude, soul for spiritual energies, being having a human experience in the cosmos and on earth. And I'm not a believer in Roman Catholic Church religion, Christianity, the Bible scripture, the Bible scripture from Genesis to Revelation. There's not one human person born from a woman uterus or womb, my art, nature, art, test, a say, I am concerned. I marched with you, I marched with you with the Westmoreland. I marched with you with the worker and many other different teams. We were there at Ebenezer March to the captain of the state of Georgia on behalf of the wrongdoing of the person you know of being mistreated, black people, people of color, and Caucasian. We marched for the representation with Reverend James Lawson, who gave words as the unity of John Lewis, said he was the director of the strategy for the Christian leadership under the leadership of Martin Luther King. And he said, what is the problem today? It's human lineage, not carrying the torch, is not speaking out for the benefit of transformation. ACI has been established as a commission in 1993, and still have these women of these different sororities represented, and no one made no effort to try to change the condition. And look at the people that are living outside today. Look at the conditions because of the pandemic, the coronavirus. So I ask you, as Brother Muhammad is not a religious person, but a spiritual person. We all we are energies. Our energy can vibrate with a high frequency for the benefit of what Reverend James Lawson said. We have laws of the book to benefit the people that have not been That's what they're put in a position as the majority members of this society. So I thank you. Yes, I thank you, Mr. Westmoreland. I thank you, Mr. Pelosi. And all you other ones that were marching. Are you going to just march and not do it in action? You need to be more transparent than that. So I appreciate as I come. Brother Anthony Muhammad, Matriarch Hotel, Ashay, and Ashay.
Greetings to you, Committee on Council members and staff, and special greetings to you, citizens of Atlanta, for watching and or listening to your government in action. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. When a person attempts to attend a virtual NPUR meeting, that person must insert the name of the chair of NPUR and the co-leader of the NPUR 9 before being allowed to attend that virtual meeting of NPUR. I ask that you decide whether or not it is ethical that the public must pay homage to Antonita or to any individual before being fully allowed to participate in civic affairs in the city of Atlanta. Be advised, however, that should you choose to comply with this simple request, you will be met with fierce resistance by those who protect the NPUR agenda and the NPUR 9, Antonita Robinson, Corliss Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Annette L. Scott, Alphonse White, Allison Hathaway, and those NPUR 9 cohorts.
All right, I believe that concludes our public comments. The next item on the agenda is communication. The first off is 20C0058, a communication from Debbie Stepowski, President, Atlanta Planning Advisory Board, submitting the appointment of Ms. Dorothy Hurst to serve on the Atlanta Citizen Review Board in the Neighborhood Planning Unit Group M through R category. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. It was favorable by the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on August 10th, 2020. Also like to take the next one together as 20C0059, which is a communication from Pierre Gaither, Executive Administrator of the Atlanta Board of Education, submitting the Board of Education's appointment of Mr. Charles Schultz to the Atlanta Beltline Affordable Housing Advisory Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years, and this was favorable by the Community Development and Human Services Committee on August the 11th, 2020. Actually, there's one more which I'd like to take together, which is 20C0066, a communication from Nancy Flake Johnson, President and CEO, Urban League of Greater Atlanta, submitting the appointment of Mrs. Leah Polium to serve on the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 3 years, and this was favorable by the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee on the 10th of August, 2020. So the recommendation is to approve.
So the recommendation to approve. Let's open the vote on items 1 through 3 under communication.
The vote
and
is
we
open.
we do need a second.
Second, Smith.
Thank you. Motion by
Madam Chair.
Matthews, second by Smith. Yes.
This is Shepard. I got dropped out and I can't get back in yet, so
Okay.
the vote is done.
Okay. I'll let you know. Give me 1 second. Everyone who can, please vote online. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor. Ms. Shepard, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis, how do you vote?
Yay.
Okay, all votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. They are all confirmed. Next item.
Next item is item 20-1518. It's an ordinance by Committee on Council to amend City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Section 66-2, precinct boundary lines and polling places by amending the 2017 Precincts and Polling Places Ordinance in Fulton County Precincts 2A, 2L1, 2B, 2L2, 5D, 6F, 7D, 8D, and 10C due to renovations being completed, reduction of voters at polling facility and precinct permitted to return to originally polling place and for other purposes. And the motion is to approve.
Is there a second?
Second, Smith.
Second by Smith. Motion by Massacre. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Westmoreland? Okay. Mr. Hiller? Ms. Shepard?
In favor.
Okay. Thank you. All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Next item.
Madam President, that concludes the business of the Committee on Council today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now go to the Zoning Committee, the Honorable Carla Smith, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. If everyone will please turn to page 55 and then have the clerk play the 2 public comments, please.
Mr. Mathenberg.
I am that I am, Brother Anthony Muhammad, and ancient original indigenous ancestor, agent, edit, genetic, soulful, spiritual energy, being, having a hearing stone in the cosmos and on the earth. I am not a believer in Roman Catholic Church religion, Christianity, in the Bible scripture. The Bible scripture from Genesis to Revelation, there is not one person born from a woman, village or woman. My nature, I declare, a shade, and a shade. So it is. I call the zoning and the channel. I have been calling the president, Ms. Moore, my district representative, the level, Ms. O.C. Often, and the new code enforcement director about a house that is in a flood zone. We had the administration look to Reed say that these houses was not suitable because they were in a flood zone. But yet today we are having new opportunities for a redeveloper to come and reconstruct this house that has been abandoned for at least 3 years. It was said and it was posted. No person to occupy this house. I'm asking the new director, Mr. Schaefer, who I've already spoke to the president this morning, as well as Mr. Schaefer, former director, Mr. Major Mason. Why is it that we can have one of Ms. Keisha last bottom administration for opportunity for person to buy a house and redevelop it after we have passed laws that were not suitable for persons to live in? I'm here. And this district, the house is 2500 Button Road, and the 2 houses. One house is being already renovated, and I'm asking what can be done. If we're going to be transparent in the 21st century, let's do like Reverend James Lawson said at the eulogy of John Lewis. What did he say? He said, what are you millennials? What are you people doing today? They fought for right. The right passed 64, 65,
1866, we were given a 14-minute section, 1981, to have in it laws that govern the relationship of the government and the people as one people. If Caucasians have right, the melanated or carbonated 12 people were having. The people that live in District 11, the majority of people that look like myself, should not have a house named remodeled after it has been said it is in a flood. So I ask you to do what can be done in zoning to help resolve this problem. May I make sure I vote help, Brother Antonio Mahoney.
Greetings to you, zoning committee, council members, and staff. A special greetings to citizens of Atlanta paying attention to our government in action and Howard being the advocate of the policy analyst. The NPUR zoning committee has been chaired for decades by one Lynette L. Scott. The NPUR zoning committee provides no minutes of this meeting. I ask that you consider null and void any request to come to you by way of the NPUR zoning committee, unless there are minutes attached have been distributed to the public. I hasten to caution you that any attempt on your part to interfere with any of the antics of the NPUR 9 will be met with fierce resistance from the NPUR 9 movers and shakers, Antonita Robinson, Carla Claire, Ricardo Jacob, Alfred White, Allison Hathaway, and their NPUR 9 cohort. Thank you.
This is Councilmember Smith again. We're back. The public comments are concluded. Madam President, items 1 through 4 are ordinances for first read. I'd like to take these together as a block.
Proceed.
Thank you. Item number 1, 20-01546, zoning case Z-20-44. The location is 625 Boulevard, and this will be a rezoning from RG4 Beltline to C1 Beltline. Item number 2, 20-0-1547 Z-20-45. The location is 183 Moreland Avenue. The plan change is to rezone from MRC1C Beltline to MRC2 Beltline. Item number 3, 20-0-1548 Z-20-46. The location is 380 North Avenue, also known as 395 North Yards Boulevard, 480 North Avenue, 525 Northside Drive, and 87 Technology Circle, also known as 395 North Yards Boulevard. They want to rezone from I-1 and I-2 to I-Mix. Item number 4, 20-0-1549 Z-20-47. The location is 1074 Ponce de Leon Avenue. They want to change from RLC conditioned to RLC residential limited commercial for a change of conditions. The motion on all 4 of these is to refer to ZRB and Zoning Committee.
Without objection from any member and on unanimous consent, those will be referred. Thank you.
Thank you. These are ordinances for second read. I'm going to take them individually. They're all a little bit different. Item number 5. Thank you, 20-0-1521. The location is 618 and 626 Gresham Avenue. And the change is to waive the code section for the purpose of acknowledging the 2 properties as 3 separate lots of record. And the motion on this is favorable.
Motion is favorable. Is there a second?
Second. This is Archibald.
Motion by Smith, second by Archibald. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
Ms. Shepard?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Item number 6, 20-0-1522. This is a moratorium. The location is the property abutting the intersection of Flat Shoals Road and Boulder Crest Road. The change is to impose a 180-day moratorium on the acceptance of any applications for a special administrative permit, building permit, or land disturbance permit. The motion on this is favorable.
Second. Who's the second by?
Archibald.
Okay. Thank you. Motion by Smith, second by Archibald. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, let's open the vote.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
Item number 7, 20-0-1531. This is another moratorium. The location is the West Side Park Overlay Area, and this is extending an additional 90 days moratorium on the acceptance of any new rezoning applications, building permit applications for the new construction, land disturbance permit applications, special use permit applications, special administrative permit applications, subdivision applications, replatting applications, and lot consolidation applications for the parcel within the West Side Park Overlay Area. This was a dual referral. It came out of CDHS committee and was amended to attach the overlay map of the area. And here at zoning, the motion is favorable as amended.
Is there a second?
Second, Hillis.
Motion by Smith, second by Hillis. Any discussion? Let's open the vote on the motion to adopt.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
That concludes the zoning report, so I will make a motion to exit committee of the whole and take these items in gross.
Is there a second?
Second, Matsakite.
Motion by Smith, second by Matsakite to exit committee of the whole. Let's open the vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We are now out of the committee. We have exited the committee of the whole. Now I entertain a motion to adopt in gross all actions taken in the committee of the whole.
So moved.
So moved. Second, Hillis.
Okay, motion by Smith, second by Hillis. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's open the vote on adopting in gross all actions taken in the committee of the whole.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Westmoreland, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. We have adopted all items in gross from committee of the whole. We now move to Finance Executive Committee. The Honorable Howard Shook, Vice Chair.
Thank you. We are on page 33. The first of our 4 items is 20-1511. This is a substitute ordinance by Finance Exec authorizing the CFO to amend the FY21 general fund budget by transferring an amount not to exceed $7,326,725 from the committed fund balance to fund permitting related services and to amend the fiscal 21 capital finance budget to fund the zoning rewrite project in an amount not to exceed $3 million and to amend 20R3761 by updating the funding account stream for the zoning rewrite project and for the purposes. This comes forward favorably from the committee on the condition that we receive a status report on said update, and you should have all received Commissioner Keene's August 14th memo providing that information, and so I will move adoption.
Motion is to adopt. Any discussion? If not, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item
is 20-1517, an ordinance by Finance Exec authorizing the mayor or designee to enter into amendment number 7 to correct ordinance 20-1238, adopted by the City Council on the dates listed to correct the time from 7 months effective December 19 of 2019 to June 30th, 2020 to 6 months effective December 19 of 2019 to June 30th of 2020, to include the language that increases the billable rate from $10.84 to $13.83 an hour in the now therefore be it ordained section of the ordinance 20-1238 on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Excellence Management, Department of Corrections, Department of Parks and Rec, and the Department of Watershed for the FC indicated citywide security guard services with Dynamic Security, Inc. for security guard services in an amount not to exceed $1,491,804 in accordance with the code sections indicated all contracted work to be charged to and paid for, etc. This comes forward favorably. There was an abstention. I'll move adoption.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt. Is there a second?
Second, Faroki.
Motion by Shook, second by Faroki. Any discussion? All right, let's open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please mute your phones if you're not speaking.
Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? Aye. Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating votes. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Next item.
20-1533 is an ordinance by Ms. Ide, Ms. Archibong, Ms. Dickens, Ms. Westmoreland, Ms. Shepard, Mr. Matskite, and Marcy Collier Overstreet, as substituted by Finance Exec, authorizing a donation in the amount not to exceed $15,001 from the Districts 5, 6, 8, 11, 12, and Post 2 and Post 3 at large carry forward accounts to helping empower youth, Hay, Inc., to support efforts to improve opportunities for youth and for other purposes. This does come forward favorable on said substitute on the condition that other council members have the opportunity, if they desire, to add their names and donation amounts as happened in committee. I believe the original sponsor was Ms. Shepard, and the others added on in committee. So that was the condition on which it's before us, if anyone wants to add their names and amounts.
Okay, if members will indicate by the speaker button. The original paper was by Ms. Hyde, and then others added on. Yes. So the first speaker I have, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, just for clarity purposes, I'm not sure the mechanics of it, Councilmember Shooker, but I donated about 2 weeks ago $5,000 to the organization, and we've been in the process of shepherding the organization through the process of being set up as a vendor so we can release the donation to them. Does it make sense for me just to add the $5,000 to this piece of legislation, or should we just continue on the process? Because we did this about over 2 weeks ago with the organization in Atlanta.
Mr. Brown, I would just advise you to continue as you've done it if you've already passed legislation. And then that way, this piece of legislation will be ready to, hopefully be ready to go by the time it gets adopted.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, next is Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to add my name and $500.
Okay, so what we're going to do is get everybody's additions, and then we'll do one amendment with all of the additions. How much, Mr. Bond?
$500.
Okay, Mr. Bond for $500. Mr. Faroki, you're next.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to add my name and $1,000.
Faroki, $1,000. Thank you, Mr. Faroki. Next speaker is Ms. Overstreet.
Thank you, Madam President. Seems that everyone already understands the gravity of the situation that we're in and how we're trying to lift this organization to help our youth during this time. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Councilmember Ide for acknowledging this need, as well as Councilmember Brown a couple weeks ago. And I just thank the entire council for for really understanding how much these youth need us. I co-chaired the Youth Advisory, the Advisory Council for the Youth Entrepreneurship, and it's the initiative that we had to convene due to our youth needing our help in steering the way that they interact with the public, as well as their pathway forward to success in our city. And we all agreed when we put in our recommendations, we turned them into the administration, that there's help that's needed right now, today, for these organizations to help the youth while we're getting our recommendations implemented. And so I just, I just want everyone to, help as much as they can. I appreciate it. There's an email address that people can use if they are partners and experts in the field of entrepreneurship for youth. That email address is youth entrepreneurship at atlanta.ga.gov. And it is just the way it sounds. It's spelled that way, youth entrepreneurship at atlanta.ga.gov. And I thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
Yes, add my name to it and $500, please.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Miss Winslow. Add my name, $1,000.
Okay, just 1 second. Trying to make sure I send this to staff at the same time so we can get the amendment. So we have Baroki at 1,000 and Smith. How much was yours, Smith? I'm sorry.
500.
500. And Miss Winslow, how much are you?
1,000.
Anyone else?
Phyllis, 500.
Okay. Phyllis, 500. Anyone else? Okay. So Ms. Kimpson Wright is typing the amendment as we speak. Anyone else who would like to speak to this issue? Okay. So I will entertain a motion to amend the paper for to add Mr. Bond at $500, Mr. Faroki at $1,000, Ms. Smith at $500, Ms. Winslow at $1,000, and Mr. Hillis at $500. I'll entertain the motion.
Shook moves approval as amended. Unsubstituted.
Second, Brown.
Okay, there's a motion by Shook, a second by Brown, Ms. Overstreet. Okay, we've got that. Let's open the vote if there's no discussion.
The vote is open. Apologies. Please hold. The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. The amendment is adopted. Now entertain a motion as amended.
Shook so moved.
There's second.
Second, Hillis.
Second.
Okay, motion by Shook, second by Hillis. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote.
Please hold. The vote is now open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Next item. It's adopted. Next item. Mr. Shook? Okay, I don't know if we lost Mr. Shook. We may have lost Mr. Shook. I do not see where,
I'm back.
I don't.
Madam President.
Okay. I was saying it was adopted. Next item.
Thank you. Green viewers tried for the third time to boot me off during my report. 20-1551 is an ordinance by Ms. Smith, as substituted by Finance Exec, to ratify, reaffirm, and supplement and amend that certain master bond ordinance adopted March 31 of 1999, previously supplemented and amended to provide for the issuance by the City of Atlanta of its water and wastewater drawdown revenue bond, North Fork Project, taxable series 2020 on a drawdown basis in the maximum aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $61,949,715, the purpose of evidencing the city's obligation to repay a certain Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act loan from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and for other purposes. This comes forward favorably. There was one abstention. I think the committee was interested in affirming that the district council member in whose district the project resides had been covered. I've been able to get a hold of her. I've received some supplemental information. I'm familiar with the history of the project, so I'm going to move approval.
Okay, the motion is to adopt. Any discussion? All right, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yes.
All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Next item.
That is all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shook. We will now go to the City Utilities Committee. The Honorable Madeline Archibald, Chair.
Thank you very much, Council President. With everyone turn to page 41, we have one item that's 20-R-4185, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into Amendment Number 1 for the number referenced for landfill slope mowing and clearing services agreement with Genesis Testing Services, Inc., to add the Department of Aviation as an authorized user to receive specialized services of slope mowing and clearing services to meet specific Federal Aviation Administration requirements regarding wildlife control at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, to amend the scope of services to include slope mowing of heavy brush and saplings, vegetative and land debris removal, fence line clearing, and sediment removal from culverts and ponds as required by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division, and the Federal Aviation Administration at the 4 landfills currently maintained by the City of Atlanta and the airport to add additional funding in an amount not to exceed $487,323.00. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes. This comes to the committee favorable, so I make a motion to adopt.
Okay, motion to adopt. Any discussion?
I'd like to say something. Yes, I was the one abstention on this. I was concerned that the original amount had been increased by so much without having the opportunity to have the rebidding of the entire project, but it turns out that the rebidding is in process, that this is an amount not to exceed and that the Department Public Works as well as Aviation are working to put this back out to bid. So I'm no longer uncomfortable and happy to see this move forward.
Okay, let's open the vote.
The vote is now open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
Mr. Bond? All votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It's adopted. Anything else?
That concludes the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We go now to Community Development Human Services Committee. The Honorable Matt Westmoreland, Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam President. We do not have a report this week.
Wonderful. We now go to Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee. The Honorable Joyce Shepard, Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. We have one item before us today on page 52, 20-0-1477, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to amend the chapter of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, 1996 Georgia laws, P-4469, adopted under and by virtue of the authority of the Municipal Home Rule Act of 1965, Section 36-35-1, as amended by amending Part 1, Subpart A, to add a new appendix, title number 4, entitled Atlanta Citizen Review Board, so as to add the Atlanta Citizen Review Board as a chapter mandated board and for other purposes. And this is coming before us for the third reading. Requires that when there's a charter amendment. So this is the final adoption. So the motion coming before the committee is to support.
Okay, the motion is to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's open the vote on the motion to adopt final adoption of the charter amendment.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Hillis?
Yay.
Mr. Westmoreland? Okay, all votes are cast.
The vote is now closed. Populating vote. Yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It is adopted. Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank the Council for their vote of support.
Mr. Bond, you're breaking up. I don't know if you're on speaker or what, but try again.
Is this better?
Yes, it is.
Hello?
Yes, better. Okay. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank the members of the council for voting to make the Citizen Review Board a permanent charter-mandated board of the City of Atlanta. This is particularly significant as many activists have, over the last few months, have asked that we make permanent changes or substantial changes in the way of policing and making sure that communities have a voice when it comes to law enforcement and policing. And this will do that. People have believed that the City of Atlanta did not have a Citizen Review Board prior to the death of Katherine Johnston, but that was incorrect. The City of Atlanta had a Citizen Review Board up to about the year 2000 and somehow was allowed to lapse. With this action, that will never happen again. We will always have a Citizen Review Board that is populated by those who have oversight over the law enforcement arms of the City of Atlanta on behalf of citizens. So just want to say thank you to all of you, and thank you very much.
Mr. Bond, I just want to add to your comment. I don't think the board ever lacked. I'm sure they would be cringing to hear you say that. It's just that the public was not made more aware, but because the council has added more money, they're going to be making sure they get their marketing out. But it has not lacked.
No, what I was saying is that during, from 2001 to the death of Katherine Johnston.
Oh, I got you. You're right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. So now we will move to Transportation Committee. The Honorable ANDREA Dickens, Chair.
The Transportation Committee does not have a report. We completed all our work in committee.
Wonderful, thank you. Now we are at personal papers, items for immediate consideration. I have received none. If you do have one, please let me know now. Okay. We now move to our items to be referred. I'm going to go by the list I have. If you're not on the list, you can indicate with your speaker button. We'll start with Ms. Archibald.
Thank you. The ELMS number is 22299. Again, the ELMS number is 22299. An ordinance by Councilmember Nadel and Archibald to rezone the property located at 770 Shadow Ridge Drive from R4 single-family residential to PDH planned development housing to accommodate the development of 11 single-family homes, the protection of environmentally sensitive areas, including Ormwood Forest, and for other purposes.
ZRB and zoning.
Thank you. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Bond? Mr. Bond?
1 second, Madam President.
I can come back to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, Ms. Boone?
Thank you, Madam President. A resolution by Councilmember Andrea Boone, a resolution requesting the Commission of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study of Dairy Avenue Southwest and for other purposes.
Transportation Committee. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
ELMS number 22240.
Okay, Transportation.
A resolution by Councilmember Andrea Boone, a resolution authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Department of Grants and Community Development to enter into a professional service agreement with Darlene Matthews, LLC, for professional planning and strategic support consulting services for the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS HOPWA grant program. All contracted work to be assigned to, charged to, and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
CDHS Committee.
No ELMS number at this time. We're looking for that. That concludes my legislative items.
Okay. Next is Mr. Faroki.
Thank you, Madam President. This is ELMS number 22302, a resolution, not an ordinance, a resolution by Councilmember Amir Faroki, directing the Office of Innovation Delivery and Performance to work with the Atlanta Department of Transportation to prepare a multi-year payment plan to holistically and responsibly pay down the city's sidewalk repair backlog and to fund new construction and for other purposes.
Transportation Committee. Ms. Overstreet.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madam President. The first one, ELMS number 22309, a resolution by Council members Marcy Collier Overstreet, CARLA Smith, Cleta Winslow, Andrea Boone, and Cleta Winslow. We need to take one Cleta Winslow away. To accept the results and strategies of the One Atlanta Economic Mobility, Recovery, and Resiliency Plan led by the Atlanta Development Authority doing business as Invest Atlanta and for other purposes.
You have an ELMS number?
ELMS number 22309. No, yes, 22309.
CDHS.
Okay, the next one is ELMS number 22305. A resolution by Council members Marcy Collier Overstreet, CARLA Smith, Cleta Winslow, and Andrea Boone, authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Atlanta and the Atlanta Development Authority doing business as Invest Atlanta for the provision of economic development and redevelopment services to establish performance objectives and reporting requirements and for other purposes.
CDHS.
Okay, thank you. And then I have one more. I don't see an ELMS. Yes, I do. ELMS number 22310. A resolution by Council member Marcy Collier Overstreet, a resolution authorizing the Council President and members of the Atlanta City Council use of the City of Atlanta's mass notification system for the purposes of notifying constituents of information important to the community and for other purposes.
Let's go to Finance Executive Committee and Committee on Council.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Hyde, she had a paper, someone introducing it on her behalf. Okay, Mr. Shook.
Thank you. Electronic Management System Designation 22304. This is a resolution by Shook authorizing the CFO to refund customers for overpayments to water and sewer accounts in the amount of blank. All funds to be charged to and paid from, etc.
Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
Ms. Westmoreland.
Thank you, Madam President. ELMS ID 22308, an ordinance by Council members Matt Westmoreland, Andre Dickens, Madeline Archibong, Joyce Shepard, Marcy Collier Overstreet, and Dustin Hillis, to establish the Building the Beloved Community Housing Affordability Initiative, to request the issuance by the Urban Residential Finance Authority of the City of Atlanta of its taxable revenue bonds, Series 2020, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $100 million for the purpose of assisting Atlanta Housing, Inc., a Georgia nonprofit corporation, and the body politic, corporate and politic in the City of Atlanta in financing the program known as the Housing Opportunity Program, related to the financing of certain eligible single-family and multifamily residential housing projects within the City of Atlanta, to authorize the mayor to execute, deliver, and perform a second amended and restated intergovernmental housing cooperation agreement with the Housing Corporation, to authorize acknowledgement of service and the filing of an answer on behalf of the City of Atlanta and validation proceedings to be brought. In validating the Series 22 bonds, to authorize the mayor to acknowledge and agree to a bond purchase agreement and continuing disclosure agreement in connection with the sale of the Series 2020 bonds, to authorize the inclusion of information related to the city in the Finance Authority's preliminary official statement and final official statement, and the use and distribution of the same, to authorize certain related actions, all in connection with the Housing Opportunity Program financed through the Finance Authority's issuance of the Series 2020 bonds and for other purposes. And I'd like to add Councilmember Michael Julian Bond's name to this legislation.
All right. And that will go to CDHS and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam President. ELMS number 22306. An ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond and anyone else who wants to sign on. An ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Division 5, Section 10-212 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, so to authorize the delivery of alcoholic beverages by the package beyond the boundaries of the licensed premises in accordance with the state law and for other purposes.
Public Safety, Legal Administration.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mr. Matsakite.
Thank you, Madam President. ELMS number 22300, an ordinance by Councilmember Matsakite. Series 2020 bond ordinance to ratify, reaffirm, supplement, and amend that certain master bond ordinance adopted on March 31st, 1999, as previously supplemented and amended, to provide for the issuance by the City of Atlanta of its water and wastewater revenue refunding bond, Series 2020, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $525 million for the purpose of refunding a portion of the city's outstanding water and wastewater revenue refunding bond, Series 2013B, and the city's outstanding water and wastewater revenue bond, Series 2015, to approve the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement, an official statement in connection with the offering for sale of the Series 2020 bonds, to supersede and repeal all resolutions and ordinances or parts of resolutions and ordinances that conflict with the provisions of this ordinance and for other related purposes.
City Utilities and Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any
Yes.
other papers to be referred?
Yes. Madam President, Councilmember
Yes,
Winslow,
go ahead,
I've
Ms.
got
Winslow.
one.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. This is ELMS 22301, an ordinance authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to waive the competitive source selection requirements contained in Article 10 of the Procurement Code to allow the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to enter into an agreement with specifically curated performers, artists, and sponsors for the 2020 Elevate Public Art Festival in Atlanta, and direct that all festival revenues and expenditures be deposited and expended from the account that is listed below and for other purposes.
Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, Mr. Shep.
Yes, thank you. I have besides proposed legislation,
Okay.
which I need to add my name to. It is ELMS 22307, and that caption reads, an ordinance by Ms. Ide authorizing the mayor or her designee to install traffic calming devices on North Pelham Road Northeast, waive certain provisions of the code section indicated, and for other purposes.
Okay, Transportation Committee.
Thank you.
Ms. Overstreet. Ms. Overstreet.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I need to add Councilmember Andrea Boone to my legislation, ELMS number 22310, the one about the Atlanta's mass notification system.
Okay, this staff, did you get that to 22310 as Ms. Boone's name as a sponsor? Anyone else?
Smith here.
Yes, Ms. Smith.
I have two papers. Elms number 22255, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith to rezone from R4 to MRC1C for property located at 1851 Jonesboro Road Southeast and for other purposes. And
DRB and zoning.
Thank you. And the CDP paper, Elms number 22256, an ordinance by Councilmember Carla Smith to amend the land use element of the 2016 Atlanta CDP so as to redesignate property located at 1851 Jonesboro Road Southeast from the single-family residential land use to the low-density commercial land use and for other purposes in PUI Council District 1.
CDH and zoning.
Thank you.
Anyone else? See no one else. Any general remarks? Any announcements or general remarks? All right. Mr. Clerk, we'll take the adjourning roll call.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you quick enough. On this coming Saturday, we will be having a food giveaway with the Atlanta Police Department and Fire Department PALs and the Fire Department, the Municipal Court at Dicker Outreach on Metropolitan Parkway, and they'll be from 10 until 2 on this coming Saturday, so we're welcoming people to come out as long as food is being given away. Thank you. In District 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Council. Yes, Council. This is Madeline. I just wanted to say that Richard Mason, he was major over code enforcement and then moved briefly to Zone 5, has decided to retire. He was a wonderful asset to our police department and to the communities that he served. And so I want to thank everybody for signing on to a proclamation that will be given to him. But just wanted to acknowledge his service to the city. It will be a tremendous loss. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Bond.
I'd just like to wish a happy birthday to my grandmother, Miss Louise Clopton, who is the matriarch of our family. She turned 96 on the 13th of August. So I want to wish her all the best.
That is such a blessing. Happy birthday from me and the entire council.
And Madam President, Councilmember Smith here again. I'm getting a few text messages, and I just wanted everyone to know, I guess I wasn't clear, but ZRB, which is the Zoning Review Board, and the BZA, Board of Zoning Adjustment, those meetings have started. They started last week.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Last call. Mr. Clerk, the adjourning roll call, please.
Today's virtual City Council meeting is being held in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The adjourning roll call. President Moore.
Present.
Council members Bond.
Present. Here.
Westmoreland.
Here.
Dickens. Present. Smith.
Here.
Baroque.
Here.
Brown. Here. Winslow.
Present.
Archibong.
Here.
Aye. Shook.
Aye.
Matsakai.
Here.
Hillis.
Here.
Boone.
Present.
Overstreet.
Present.
Shepard.
Present.
Thank you all.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Smith. Is there a second?
Second, Shook.
Motion by Smith. Second by Shook. On unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Great job. Bye-bye.
Good job.